We're poor again.
That's true. There's no hope. Ring, 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 hello, simps and virgins. And welcome back to Krown's magical perturbation cave.
The perturbation cave? What are we fucking perturbing today? Everyone's gonna get more poor. Oh, the doom. Okay. Yeah, exactly right. God damn it. Didn't fucking work. Bastard. I done goofed for the last time. I done goofed for the last time in my life.
It's me, bitches! Diligence! $39,000 lower high as we get ready for another move down to the lows. And Bitcoin cycle, as all markets have been by good old Jerome Powell, whispered in your ear sweet nothings of rate hikes and doom! Yes, that is exactly right. That is what you can expect for the next few months as Bitcoin does what it was destined to do.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. It is a lovely Tuesday morning, no, Wednesday, Thursday, right? Thursday morning, baby. It's fucking Thursday, the day after, 2 days before the day after tomorrow, after the day after the Fed announcement. And you know what that means? That means Bitcoin coming back down as the rally before that announcement. Before that event was the overall tell, as some people have speculated yesterday. Didn't really have a strong opinion myself, but ultimately $39,000 was the breakout target out of the 36,800 or 36,700 region, which we just about got yesterday. About $100 shy, as it does look like on Bybit right there that I'm looking at right now. So with that in mind, let me just make sure that everything is all nice and safu over here. There we go. Lovely. Apologies for the opening morning ceremonies because, you know, someone's got to be having fun with this. Hopefully everyone having a nice and good and healthy day, regardless of what the market's doing right now. But ultimately, several things to be speaking about. Now that we do have that event out of the way, we can go back to technicals, and we can go back to tentacles as well, of which there are several to be speaking about right now. I see that there's a shit ton of people in here already, 1,000 people watching, 263 likes on the video. That is good. We're still trending up on the moving averages, but the overall numbers, the raw numbers, they're about stagnant. But that's what you can expect right now. I suspect, and I imagine people are getting the same sort of feelings as this, or at least what I can see from YouTube views, is that, you know, most people are losing a lot of interest within this market, and that's completely understandable. I would imagine that most people don't want to stick around during times like this. They don't want, it's too painful, and fair enough, you know. So shout out to the people who are still tuning into content like this, as I salute you, I respect you, and well, we'll go through this one together. This channel, for all the people who are asking if I plan to leave if Bitcoin does do the old dance of death, which I don't think is happening right now. In fact, I don't think Bitcoin's going to make severely new lows here or anything like that. I do think that we're still waiting for a bounce before really realistically anything else. But do I have any plans of leaving during the next crypto winter? No, man. This channel was actually started in March of 2018 during the heart of the last bear market, the last real bear market. And well, that was actually probably some of the most fun times, to be quite honest with you. Although it did get definitely boring near the end of that year, before the ultimate dooms drop, which did bring about some excitement yet again. Anyways, I'm going to take a few sippy sips of this good old coffee over here. See a shit ton of people in the comment section now. Holy moly, man. Those likes just doubled in about a second. 420, beautiful. No one even think about hitting the like button now. We're keeping it right there. I see Nikki Page. What's up, Miss or Mrs. Nikki Page? I don't know. Rocky G, good morning, man. Yeah, the casting couch days. Holy shit, man. Yeah, only the OGs of OGs know that. I actually tried to bring that back, and I forgot how I even did it to begin with, and I also don't have a green screen any longer, so I don't think it would work as well. There's no days in hell, Sinky says grandbrother. Yes, hell indeed, my friend. You will wear nothing and be happy, says Fun Pants. That's the timeline that we're moving along right here. Yes, indeed. Man, who the fuck thought of that marketing message? Like, I'm assuming that they probably, hopefully don't actually mean that, because that is rather concerning, you might say. Anyways, I need to take a few more sips of this. My throat is desperately needing it today. see a lot of familiar faces in here. I see Gohan's mom. I see Dad Rackets. I see Pelagic 6. Kobus, there he is. Satan is indeed in the house as well. Big boy George, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. John, dude, what's up, dude? Dislike button. Show me that neck, baby. That neck is right here. Neck is looking strong. However, I've been not doing my neck polls recently, so unfortunately, I will never be keeping up with Mr. I believe it is Trader Main on the Twitter sphere. Really like that guy, man. I actually tried to get him onto the podcast one time, but I don't know, man. Communications just fall through, or maybe just didn't want to anymore. Oh shit, there he is, the Bear Master himself, Mr. Saint Anna. Oh, King of the Bears, man. I think you're King of the Bears. You're the most persistent bear. That certainly is. Lev Ashen, good morning to you as well, man. We all almost made it. We almost made it again, guys. We almost made it above $40,000. Didn't quite make it there, but that's why we all almost made it. Elsa. I asked Elsa what she thought of her portfolio the other day. She says, "It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's really not good. It's not good." Are you gonna go look at it now? Yeah, that's good. That's a really good idea. Hey, what's up, Robbie Jones? What's up? Oh, there's Elsa. F. Bueller, B-Lol. What's up, brother? We all almost made it, man. We almost made it there. Moose Down Under. What's up, brother? It looks even worse. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what happens after good old Jay Powell speaks. We no longer have the strong correlation between Jay Powell opening his mouth and markets just going straight up. That correlation has been inverted ever since about November, in fact. Anyways, I'll read through some of these comments right here. I want to get through a little bit more of this coffee, and then we'll get into the content of today. I do see a pretty interesting question right here from Alonzo. He says, Powell says the economy is excellent. Why should everyone expect to see the markets fall? It's not about what he says. It's about the expectation of what he says and what that implies to what the Fed will actually do. So if the economy is excellent, then that means that it's in a good place to raise rates. And the economy being good or bad or excellent or terrible has absolutely nothing to do with asset prices. Surely you've noticed that in the past couple of years here, ever since the old flu dump and when markets went straight to the upside, was the economy actually good? No. Stocks were going fucking moon mode, yes, but was the economy actually good? If you look at more objective measurements like, employment rates and shit like that, probably not. Probably wouldn't come to that same conclusion. So no, man, that has absolutely nothing to do with it. He just said March stopped buying shares. March interest rates began to rise. Didn't say how much. It's just a show. It is just a show, yes. But again, he played into the expectations, and because what we saw yesterday in the markets before the actual announcement, what we saw was we saw a big rally, right? We saw a big rally into an event like that. So the market was essentially pricing in I guess a decentish resolution in the sense that, Powell was going to come out and basically say, hey, we're not really thinking of raising rates maybe 4 times, maybe just 3 times. In that case, you probably would have seen the rally sustained and maybe, take another leg up, somewhere around about $40,000 or so. But instead, no, he basically said, we're on track. We're on track to do what we essentially said that we're going to do. So that's what you can kind of expect. And so the markets get brought back down to the lows, basically where they were when the market was first kind of pricing in these sort of major rate hikes. So again, man, all of these things have nothing to do with the raw data. It's all about the expectations versus the raw data. That's what produces, a bit of a change in that. So we're back to pricing in, rate hikes yet again. And I suspect that that means, most markets probably back down somewhere around their lows and probably bounce again from their lows. I don't think that the general markets have the momentum nor the structure to really break heavily here just yet. If it's going to happen, I think it happens over the course of, the next few months at earliest. Oh, there he is. What's up, Mr. Wally? By the way, man, I've been meaning to give you a big shout out. You know what, Wally? You know what, man? I got to give you the biggest shout out right now because I gotta tell you, man, when you first came into the cave, this was about in October, maybe? September, October. You're a young guy, you're a young 20-something-year-old guy. I'm guessing like 20 or 21, something like that. Young dude, a lot of pep in your step, very excited and everything. And you came in and you started to get on the live streams and, it was cool to see you there. But then you started to get into, okay, well, should I get into the program and shit like that? I'm like, no, man, maybe don't do that right now. In fact, I was kind of against it. I cautioned you not to do it, to be quite honest with you, because, well, if you're on the younger side, I typically don't see people actually, put their full effort forwards, and it usually doesn't work out too well, or at least from what I can gather. It's, I just don't feel comfortable usually with like a younger person in there, not just because of the financial commitment, but also because, you're going to be around a lot of people who are, older than you and perhaps more mature, of which, I'd say that you fit in pretty well right there, man. But man, you fucking proved everyone wrong. You proved me wrong. You proved the people at the beginning wrong who were kind of giving you a harder time. And we weren't giving you a harder time to, shit on you or anything like that. It was, basically because, well, you're the new guy. Basically, you're the new guy. And you know what? You are a prime fucking example, Mr. Wally, of someone who takes on the learner's mindset properly, applies it, spends the time in the learning phase, not risking real finances, doing the back testing, doing the hard work, doing the not even necessarily hard work, but the very boring work, the very fucking boring work of continually testing shit out, trying things that probably aren't working, finding small little efforts of success, and then a lot of very displeasing iterations of non-success as well. And then you push on through, man. And about 6 months later, now you're in the fucking Discord. You've proved everyone wrong. Essentially, not that necessarily people were against you, obviously, but people are naturally going to be a little bit like, all right, well, here's this fucking new guy. He's young as fuck. Like, this guy, what are you doing, man? Get a little bit older, get a little bit more mature. But no, man, you've done that. You've gone through the early sort of woes of it. And you're a prime example of someone who has now basically come on through, man, and you're doing it and you're fucking posting your successes. And it's fucking amazing to see, man. And it's really, really cool. I'm so fucking happy for you. I think I speak on behalf of a lot of people in the Discord as well, that they're happy for you as well, man. And I wanted to give you a shout out right at the beginning of the stream, mostly to waste time so I can sip on some of this more of this coffee. But again, man, you are basically the example, the fucking poster boy for how to learn and then apply. And now you're doing it, and you're doing it in what I consider probably record time, to be honest with you. So that's fucking awesome, man. And yeah, man, just that's super, super cool. Anyways, I am going to take some more sippy sips of this. There we go, man. There we fucking go. All right, we'll get to some of the other comments a little bit later. I want to get through the early morning rituals here, of course. Stop sucking on Mr. Wally's pee-pee there because he's a little bit too young for that, and I see Integer as well. We'll get to that a little bit later, my friend. And let's do this right here, right now. All right, let me actually just I got one little sip left here. Oh, look, Bitcoin is above zero, so that's cool. That's a really healthy mindset, sir. Lower your expectations until they can't be broken. Fucking love it, man. All right, here we have Bitcoin to start off the day. This is the day after, of course, the FOMC meeting where Jay Powell once again got on the old horn there and basically reiterated his stance. It was a little bit more of a hawkish sort of confirmation, essentially, in the sense that, yeah, rate hikes this year, 4 of which are, highly likely thus far, and, well, it's business as usual. So the rally that we saw to kind of start off yesterday from about 30, I think we were looking at a breakout just below $37,000 with targeted regions right around $39,000. That was fulfilled, but that happened before the FOMC meeting. So once the meeting came out, they reiterated those stances. Well, what do you expect? You expect basically Bitcoin to go back down to the lows, as well as most markets, which is kind of what we're seeing right now. So that is the theory behind what we're going to be speaking about. Of course, at the end of the day, it's the technicals that I feel a lot more comfortable with because, well, that is something that actually gives me some way to validate or invalidate moves. But as you can see, those are the way that ranges will play alongside an event-driven market like we saw yesterday. So with that in mind, we're actually going to come back to the data over here on the Krown trading application. Again, the open interest just been the fucking key golden player of the last few months here, keeping everyone safe in Safu. And once again, it is, kind of suggesting that it's a bit of a risk off time right now, if you might say. Anyways, before we get into that, I also want to address this because it does still align with the likelihood that whilst Bitcoin does come back down, around the lows here, I don't think that Bitcoin, and I'll say this point blank period, I do not think that Bitcoin has the momentum nor the structure right now to essentially break to majorly new lows before first playing out a bit of a bounce. But right now we are still within the process of kind of unraveling yesterday's statement and likely playing a little bit lower in the medium. But if you look at funding rates right here, we can see that it's the most negative we've seen basically since the 4th of December, actually, where we got all the way to negative 0.05 actually. Right now it's negative 0.014. If we go down here to an hourly data feed, it's actually significantly less than that. So that is why I do like to look at the daily average to kind of get a better idea of what financing looks like. But this, very likely coincided with yesterday's essential short covering rally. And then what happens after that? Price action gets slammed back on down, and well, that's the name of the game, my friends. So let's go to the price action charts right here. Let's start off with where we left off yesterday. Essentially, we identified yesterday, or I guess it was more like 36 hours ago, not necessarily yesterday, but between like Tuesday and Wednesday, essentially, we did have a bit of a short-term breakout above this 36,700 level right here. That did initiate targets up to this blue box territory right here. In fact, it was a little bit higher than that, somewhere around about 39 low, and we said, you know, could go as far as about $40,000. We got just barely into it. That's fair enough. And then of course the event happened, and well, rejection and trend remains right here. So with that in mind, what else do we have going on right now? We actually will have hidden bearish divergence forming, not on the 4 hour, but I believe maybe on the 6 hour or the 12 hour. Yeah, the 6 hour definitely does have it right there. Between this high over here and this high, presumably that we're putting in right now, that has not been necessarily actually no, it has been confirmed right here. And then the 12 hour, I believe as well, if sorry, no, it does, yes, it should have hidden bearish divergence between this breakdown level right here and kind of where we're at right now. Again, though, I do not think that Bitcoin has a good setup here for like a major break to new lows. The reason why I say that is because we are seeing extremes here on 12-hour BBWP. We saw extremely high numbers here on daily BBWP, now officially getting into the 90 percentiles, a little bit more than that. I still want to see it get somewhere around 95 percentile, but that could come alongside another move down somewhere around our current lows, let's say 33.5 to 34-ish region. And at that point, I'd probably be looking for this one to get to the levels that we're looking for, comparable to what we saw in October, comparable to what we saw in December, comparable to what we saw in August as well. All of these actually coming at the culmination of some downside moves, actually except for the August one right there. But my point is that, you know, we are already looking at extremes. We will also be looking at very likely bullish divergence building on the daily RSI here. Our last low from the 22nd of January to get all the way down to a 20 read. So ultimately, if Bitcoin prints an even slightly lower low here, let's say we close the day anywhere below basically like $35,000, you will be building up your first drives of bullish divergence. Very likely. On top of that, daily Joule has actually lost its downside curvature and is pointed up by, again right now. So whilst I do think Bitcoin probably has some more short-term downside here to go, I do not think that we have the momentum nor the volatility reads nor the setup to really break towards significantly new lows on a daily closing basis. So that brings up the question, or sorry, actually let's go through the lower term time frame momentum oscillators first here. And we can see that on the 4 hour, we are very likely freshly turning down. Yes, indeed we are. It's coming hard down below 38,750 right here. Bi hourly is going to be showing what is going to be showing nothing because it's loading right now. Again, come on, for the love of God. It's already way down there at 36,100 or so. And hourly, I believe, is flippy floppy, which is probably still down, but very, very aggressive right there below 35,900. Medium term time frame is going to be on the same side as the 4 hour, most likely. Yeah, 6 hour freshly coming down below 38.2. 12 hours also going to be turning down today on the next closure below 35,250, which Bitcoin is obviously above right now. So that will likely align with a very short term time frame continuation move. Again, somewhere around our current lows, maybe a little bit lower than that, but ultimately I don't think that Bitcoin, you know, again with these reads right here, is setting up for like a major continuation move to the downside. Very likely looking at some major lows here, and then very likely rallies up into, you know, middle of February. And then the real question is this a bull trap or not? As you can see, daily stochastic momentum will be to the upside as long as Bitcoin's closing above 34,150. So that does, you know, align with, you know, maybe a Bitcoin move back down around there, but ultimately momentum remains the upside as long as you're closing above there. So that is rather important. Buy daily, same thing, 36,550, very, very low. And of course, the 5-day, which we did close not last night, but the night before that, is currently at 35,300 as well. So realistically, over these next 5 to 10 days, I do believe strongly that Bitcoin's probably going to be putting in a major low somewhere where we're at right now, after maybe re-exploring the current lows, and then very likely setting up for the major bounce, probably leading into like middle of February, maybe even late February. And then the real question is, does Bitcoin get above any one of the critical levels that could define a long-term reversal, meaning that Bitcoin is once again, you know, trending bullish, and there is, well, I guess no major qualms with current price action, you know, essentially correction over. And what would be required for that? Same thing as before. We took a not a reverse, but we took a bearish Fibonacci retracement from the low side of the range to the high side of our range as well. And you can see that your traditional not bear trap, but bull trappy region between the 0.5 and the 618 right there. Let me put it on log scale, which is actually between 44,000 and about 48,000 would be your traditional sort of bull trappy region. So if I'm kind of mapping this one out over the next month or so, I still think it kind of follows our good old LARP lines over here. Maybe gives one more try to the downside. Maybe even comes down to the blue box right here just below. That's fine. But ultimately into February, something like this is probably what I'd be looking for, and then a turn down right around here. And then the question is, when it does turn down, do we get a higher low on a daily and by extension the weekly as well, or does it fall on through $40,000 again? If you see it fall on through $40,000 again, assuming that this move even plays out to begin with, that's going to be my confirmation for full on bear market, very likely spending the next 6 months or so in this range between about 45 and 30,000, and then might even break down to 25,000, which I do think is probably worst case scenario, to be honest with you, on this current move if it does initiate long term downside. And the hopium is that you do set in a higher low just somewhere right around here above $40,000, and then you confirm that with a closure back above the 618, which is about 48,000 and some odd change. If you see something like that, it's balls to the walls again, or bulls to the walls again, whatever the fuck you want to call that in that case. And that would be quote unquote good. Until then, short-term timeframes are kind of where it's at right now because the volatility is rather high. So that means ranges are rather large and things move fucking fast. And that is exactly what we love to do as traders. So I want to once again bring up the long-term look on this because I do think that there are technically more bearish things than bullish things actually. And I do think that it's wise to be aware of these things simply because we are going to be looking at a monthly time frame here. And the reason why I bring up the monthly time frame is because we're only a few days away from closing the month. So this becomes more and more relevant. And if we go over to our very higher term time frames, again, in this case, that's going to be the monthly, we will see monthly stochastic momentum turn to the downside officially with any sort of a closure, again, at the end of the month below 53,500. So that's rather far away. It's quite likely to happen. Bitcoin's a little bit less than $20,000 away from that price point right now. Have we seen crazier things than a 4-day $20,000 rally? We have, but those were in pretty ranging bull markets. So unlikely, I would say. Unlikely at this point, but hey, that's what would be required. And you can see the last thing that we actually turned down and lost specifically the bullish control zone was back on over here in February 2018. For the people who have been here for a while, you need no explanation of where that is, but that would be right here. That would be right fucking here, right? Before the next year or so, sideways and down in a very grinding and nasty market. On top of that, we can go over to this chart right here. We can pull up the monthly MACD. The monthly MACD will actually officially be crossing the downside with any sort of a monthly closure below 40,750. And even in the histogram will just generally be falling below $54,000, which is kind of in line with the stochastic momentum as well. On top of that, we do see that the PMAR has lost the moving average on it. Now, we don't have too many iterations on this, so I'm kind of grasping at, at thin air here. But when we do align this with the three prior MACD crosses to the downside, here on the monthly, and I should actually mark off this one as well because I didn't do that, but that would be in August 2014. You'll very quickly see why these are relevant because, well, this iteration over here from 2014 in August, you see pretty much the same price action that we're seeing right now, where with Bitcoin bouncing off the 20 simple, spends a couple months oscillating around there, rejection for the quarter following that basically, and then falls on through. And this doesn't look too much on a log scale, but make no mistake, from the actual signal given to the next low was 70% move, which is kind of nasty. Of course, we did see something similar over here in 2018. In June, monthly MACD officially crosses to the downside. From that price point to the next major lows, 55.5% down. Of course, we have another one over here right before the good old flu dump, or maybe not good old flu dump, but you get my meaning right there. And from wick high to wick low, about a 60% move. From a closing basis, certainly not as bad, to be fair. I mean, this was a bit of a out of the blue area, but still 30% move to the downside, as you can see. And then of course we're getting the same thing right in over here. Now all of those prior signals were met with corrections down to the green 55 exponential moving average, which is why I do say worst case scenario is probably somewhere right around there. Currently speaking, that is trading at about 22,300 or so, and that will naturally rise up with each and every passing month. Obviously it's a fucking average, right? And for the last few years we've been spending a lot of time above that. So with that in mind, I do think that this is technically speaking a more there are more bearish things on the on the long term here, to be fair, and it is wise to represent this because we need to be prepared for that. But what would actually initiate even that move to begin with, which I'd caution against like blindly just looking for, it'd be the same thing over here, right? We need to see a weekly closure below the same regions that we saw over the summer, which would be just below about $30,000 or so on a weekly closing basis. Any sort of a daily closure below that first May drive down here in 2021 would also do it for me. That's 29,800. If one of those two conditions is met, I would be looking for a move somewhere down between about $22,000 and $25,000. Until then, I don't think that this is happening anytime soon. It might not even happen anytime at all, and that would be my validation for a move like that. In this case right here, again, we're more in a bouncy area than not for the short term. The question is, how far do we come down on this current drive before finding its footing again and trying for that next rally? It also should be known that we do have a technical formation in here as well, which is still valid, and it's also not on my damn charts, which is a problem. But there we go. That would be the good old head and shoulders right there, which does have an implied target all the way down basically to our summer lows. So if you are looking for a max washout target for this current move that we have, I do think that would be it. I don't think that's relevant for right now, and as I explained earlier, I don't think that Bitcoin really has the momentum to do that from here. I don't think it's going to be hit, basically, is what I'm saying, but I'll be wrong on that, or more importantly, you don't need to listen to me on that at all until Bitcoin closes an hourly delta below our current lows or a daily below that first wick low that we saw over here on the 22nd of January. If one of those two things happens, probably going to see somewhere around $30,000, give or take a few bucks from there. But again, I am looking I want to be very deliberately clear with this, that I am looking from bounces from this region sooner rather than later, or I wouldn't say sooner rather than later, but I'm just looking for bounce from this region without really making any significantly new lows on a daily closing basis. Remember, we also came off the monthly over here as well, the monthly 21 exponential average, which is, a natural bouncy area, simply for the fact that the people who are playing bearish divergence on this call over here, which I thought was kind of an aggressive one, at least for myself. That first target down to $47,000 was relevant. The next one down to to the 21, a little bit more aggressive, at least in my opinion. So I did not play that. But in this case right here, what point was I making? In this case right here, motherfucker, man, I done lost it right there. My apologies. It's Elsa's stupid laugh in the background. Sorry, I love your laugh, baby, but it didn't even throw me off. I'm just looking for excuses right now, and I'm blaming you. Anyways, I actually completely forgot where I was going with that one. Jesus Christ, I just lost my complete train of thought on that. Oh yes, okay, so the 21, very, very likely that people are going to be closing their shorts if they did take this signal over here around that region, just taking profit, so that's kind of why it's a naturally bouncy region. And then on top of that, it was the quarterly backfill that we did see, sorry, not the quarterly weekly, but the quarterly backfill that we did see back on over from the reversal over the summer, that is. So these are very commonly bouncy regions. And to be fair, if I'm looking at the quarterly right here, I'm not necessarily bearish on the quarterly just yet. So I do want to represent all sides, the best way that I can. Ultimately, though, I do think that there still is hoping for this market. I do still think that Bitcoin in the next couple months here is probably going to either confirm or deny this hopium that we are looking for, which essentially is daily closures above $48,000. Essentially, what I'm saying and what this can all be boiled down to is that Bitcoin more likely to bounce over this next 2 to 3 week segment. I'd say the question is, does the bounce get above $48,000 or not? If it does on a daily closing basis, I will look at that as a confirmation that this is still long-term bullish. I wouldn't necessarily say that Bitcoin's going to bust on through and do some green dildo parties to new all-time highs exactly from there on that date, but it would set up the sort of criteria and the structure for very likely a new try towards at least 60,000, but probably new all-time highs, maybe at earliest around Q4 of this year, probably more like into 2023. We can see how all these things kind of work with each other. And of course, there's going to be a lot of, economic events along the way that are going to, play into that. On top of that, we also are coming off the bi-weekly 55 right here as well. So again, I do, no matter how bearish that you might be getting right now, I just don't think that Bitcoin has momentum to break down from where we're at right now, nor the structure. So ultimately, Another retest of the lows, completely fine. Just not looking for any closures, on significantly new lows, essentially, is kind of what I'm boiling the statement down towards. And what I really be looking for is like the next big signal for the, I'd say semi-higher time frames, not necessarily macro, but getting there, would be the 5-day signal over here. It's just been so consistent coming off the same level. And we do see that it will officially turn up for the first time basically since October. October, ever since end of October, early November, where Bitcoin actually made its all-time highs, it's been down. It's been very, very consistent with getting these moves. And that'll actually be turning up for the first time from the lowest level we've seen basically since when? Might be since ever, actually. Let me just double check over here. Let me see. No, the only time that we've been this low was actually December 2018, which December 2018 was, of course, the 3100 macro cycle lows from, well, the 2017 to 2018, biblical rally basically that we saw. So once that starts to turn, I do really start to look for Bitcoin to put in a big rally. I do think that relevant targets for that rally would very likely be somewhere between, at minimum, the 382 Fibonacci retracement, as we did look at over here, which is the $40,000 level. But personally speaking, I do think that's when you get your rally somewhere between the 0.5 and the 618. Everyone's going to get very, very bullish around that time, maybe for good reason. But I would say, personally speaking, hold off on bullishness from that move, presuming that all of this even happens to begin with, until Bitcoin either sets in a higher low above $40,000 or breaks down below. And if it breaks down below, then you're going to see Krown get very excited yet again. Until then, I would actually still kind of refrain from my own long-term bearishness just yet. But we're talking about like $10,000, $20,000. We're talking about $10,000 to $15,000 moves here. It's like, doesn't matter if you call that bullish or bearish. Look, this is why I think it's very, very important to understand that I come at this from the focus of a trader. So I don't really care what you call it. I'm just looking to trade these moves and looking for actionable, verifiable, tangible things to either validate these setups or invalidate them. And that's all that it comes down to. All that I care about is statistics and probabilities in this case. And well, at the end of the day, I actually don't really care what direction Bitcoin does go. It is nicer and easier when it goes up to the upside, no doubt about that. I'm not above admitting that. I'm certainly not above admitting that. But hey, I do think that this is going to be a long wait here at best. So hopefully that was helpful. There you go for Bitcoin, and nice. Sirs and Zers. I'm going to take a sip of this. I see that we got Josh in the house right now. What's up, Mr. Josh? Good to see you, brother. Good to fucking see you. Let me pull up the chatties over here. It's a little bit more of a busy day than what I suspected it would be. 2,400 people watching right now as well. We almost got 1,000 likes on the video. Amazing. Oh, we're trending up, baby. We are trending up. This is good. This is really, really nice. I'm actually surprised to see that there's a lot of people still hanging around here. So that is cool. That is actually really, really nice to see. Anyways, very, very short term here on the hourly. Bitcoin looking like it's finding a little bit of a short term higher low, or sorry, not a higher low, but a short term low. Probably tries to move up somewhere around the upper 36s, let's say. So bit of a waiting game right here. I'm going to get my water ready. I think we have a Snopes fact checker in the chat. Well, they sound very trustworthy. Hey, what's up, Josh? Namaste to you as well, sir. I think the market is at a point in which I will prove to myself I'm not a stupid bull. Can you please look at Ethereum 3-day and weekly? Loving the advanced stochastic. I'm very, very happy to hear that. I'm very happy to hear that. Basically, is what I'm gonna say. I was gonna go on a tirade like, yeah, man, it's something that I use every day myself. So, I hope that kind of speaks for itself. Anyways, Ethereum, let's go to the bi-weekly here. Yeah, so, we pretty much hit our downside targets on this one. I was saying between about 2,000 and 2,100. How far did we get down? We got 2,160. Close enough is close enough in this case. Same thing as Bitcoin. I think you're more in a bouncy area than not. If we go over here to a 5-day, I'm just curious what we can see because I haven't really looked at this one. Not great. Not great on a 5-day right there. But you're looking at a 3-day and a weekly. Okay, let's go over here to a 3-day. Just as an aside, I'm actually not a humongous fan of the 3-day chart. I'm a bigger fan of the 2-day chart, but I can kind of identify what you're likely going off of. Let me actually record this one and let me gather my thoughts here really, really quickly. I just want to check out some of the different time frames. Okay, daily. Daily for okay, we do have a nice trading range going on right here. You are starting to put in some indications that this one is going to put in a nice low here, but does that not come alongside another move to the downside, maybe a little lower than your current lows and officially hit that $2,100 target first? Perhaps yes. So let me record this. Here we have Ethereum, symbol ETH versus the dollar. This one being requested by Mr. Josh, a good friend, and he is looking at the higher term time frame structure on this one. So, I want to first identify, similar to Bitcoin, that we are more than likely in a major bouncy area than not. Now, major bounce area is not the same thing as reversal. It's not the same thing as, bulls to the fucking moon yet again. However, it can account for a nice, nice bouncy bounce to the upside alongside Bitcoin in this case. Anyways, looking at the bi-weekly right here, we nearly hit our target to the downside. I was saying somewhere between about 2,100 and as actually far down as 1,900. In this case, we already got down to about 2,160. So with that in mind, I do still think that there could maybe be one more swipe of the lows, similar to Bitcoin in this case. 4 hour is technically still trending to the downside, but we are hitting extremes here. So I don't think it has too much further down to go. And if it does break down from its current levels, I don't think that is going to really make significantly new lows. I think worst case scenario right now before a major bounce is about 1,900 or so, and probably I'd be a little bit surprised if it even gets there. We also will naturally have many drives of bullish divergence kind of building up on this one as well. But for right now, it is a little bit more on the short-term bearish side, obviously, with that rejection right here at the 55 at 2,700. So we can put in a nice little trading range right here, which let me actually redo for this time frame because that chart is not relevant for the 4 hour in this case. But basically 2,700 basically to the upside. As long as you're below there, I do look for this one to trade a little bit sideways and down around its current lows, whether that be about 2,230, perhaps even towards slightly new lows at about 2,100 is completely fine. I don't have a strong opinion on that. We do see 4 hour Jewel is actually showing some downside, and I believe if we go over here, our other short-term time frame momentum oscillators are likely nosediving here as well. Indeed, you can see on the full hour after hitting extremes here on HVP and BBWP by extension. So what does that likely align with? Perhaps another exploration of the lows, maybe a slightly new low, but ultimately, just like Bitcoin, I don't really think that you have the momentum to break down to significantly new lows. Daily right here is turning up and will be showing upside momentum with any sort of a closure above 2288 at the end of today at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The buy daily is also actually pretty hard down here as well, below 2575, but I mean, pretty fucking low there. I mean, for reference, the only time that we've seen lower than this, and it's actually rather comparable to where we're at right now, was March 2020, actually, which I'm sure that you already know exactly where I'm going with that. And then the only time that we've seen it lower than that was December 2018 on the macro cycle lows, which for Ethereum, I think was like $80 or something, which is fucking insane, man. Anyways, 5-day, what are we seeing right here? Same thing as Bitcoin, will be turning up with any sort of a closure above 2462. Of course, trading below there right now, but again, I just don't think that we have significantly lower to go before initiating a major bounce. Weekly, same thing as well, correcting heavily, actually still showing 38.27, which is good for my own short exposure there, but I think I'm going to be closing that relatively soon. And then Josh was also asking about the 3-day here, of which we can pull this one up. And the 3-day is getting quite low there as well, and actually will be turning up above 2550. So a lot of these things kind of, looking like they're exhausting their momentum to the downside, but that does not mean that you can't see one more swipe of the lows. In fact, I think that that's rather likely. I would not even call a short-term time frame. I'd say this would be more of a medium-term time frame, actually. Breakout as long as you're below 2,700. A full hour closure above 2,700, and yes, I would be looking for the next bounce corrective move back up somewhere into the shallow 3,000s, whether that be about 3,100 or 3,200. I don't really have a strong opinion on, but somewhere around there would look good, and then we come back to it and reanalyze it after that. Other than that, I'm just going back here to the higher term timeframes. I think that we've seen the majority of this downside move for right now. Next month is likely setting up for a bounce. And the question is, at what price point would you say that the long-term correction is over for Ethereum? So understand that we're making an assumption here, and understand that we are talking about hopium here. This is not in the cards as of right now. In fact, this is like very far away. And God damn it, okay, turn off stupid Telegram. Sorry about that. But basically, I'd be doing the same thing that I did on Bitcoin in this case, and that would be a bearish retracement from the highs to the lows of our current range, and that would be above about 3,300. So if we do get another rally, that being, maybe around February, middle February to March region, I'd be looking at the 2,900 to 3,300 region right here as a potential bull trappy region until proven otherwise, meaning just like Bitcoin below $48,000, we could do something like this, pop back down, maybe setting a higher low at around 25 or 2600. That would look good. If you see something like that, that would be amazing for the boo laws. If you see something like this, however, where it bounces initially and then plops back down below about 25 or 2600, that's your confirmation of mega bear, and you're probably looking at big moves down at least to your summer lows, which would be about 1700-ish or so, and maybe even lower over time, as the higher term timeframes like the monthly are quite abysmal here. But again, you're in, damn it, I did it again. You're in a bouncy region coming off the monthly 21. If you're playing the bearish divergence on the monthly right there, you know, that is a take profit area. So more likely to bounce around this region than not, similar to Bitcoin. And I imagine that monthly momentum, stochastic momentum is going to turn down with any sort of a closure below 2400. So this one actually could remain to the upside, or sorry, whoa, I need my vision checked. Not 2400, 3600. So yeah, that's rather far away right now. Apologies on that. So again, you know, next month likely to bounce. Technically speaking, it's a more bearish long-term setup than not, but you just have to kind of differentiate your time frames there. So hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Ethereum, Mr. Sir. Okay, sweet. All right, let's go back on over here. Let me work my way back down the chatties. I think John Dude is next. Yeah, John Dude is next. Guten Tag. Guten Tag to you as well, sir. Since we're talking, mine wife who left after network price fell in love with FTM investor called Gunther. I hate Gunther. When can I buy sturdy? When can I buy sturdy bicycle to visit Gunther? 1 USD. It's no longer for rent, man. We're living on our bicycles now. Fucking skipped the car, sleeping in the car, and now we're just going straight to the bicycle, huh? This one looks a lot more short-term, obviously bearish to me than the last two setups that we considered here. The reason why I say that is because we only need two things going on right now, is because you do have, well, a distributive formation on the lows right here in the format of an ascending triangle, and that would have a resolution point basically below the lows on a closing basis, like just below 17 cents or so. And that does have an implied target as well, something like this. I'm going to do a more conservative estimate of this because I really don't think the marks have too much more low to go if they do break down before finding some major lows before a nice big rally. That's going to be about 14.5 cents, I think, is kind of worst case scenario. And even then, man, like there should theoretically be a nice, a nice bid somewhere right around here. I guess actually maybe that's kind of the area that we're working off right now. 15.5 cents, or sorry, 14 cents versus 15.5 cents. Might as well be the same area. Anyways, you're looking at it daily specifically. Elsa is laughing, and that's not what we're about. We do not laugh on this channel. This channel is not about laughing. This channel is about very serious technical analysis on magic internet beans and beanie babies. Whole stream in German, please. Again, I'm looking at the daily right here, man. Like I don't think that you're going to be breaking. I honestly do not think that you're going to break down those levels. Maybe retest those levels. You know, maybe around the first wick low over here from 22nd of January, but you know, unless if you really close below, I would not use a 4 on this case. This looks like a trap in the making to me when you're kind of finding a lot of these wicks around the 200 simple. I would not use a 4 on this case. I would say a daily closure below 16.5 cents. Okay, sure. Yeah, we can talk about targets down towards 14 to 14.5, I guess. And I guess that is actually kind of a big move in this case. Personally speaking, I do think that you're going to find somewhat of a footing right here. Your confirmation of a nice local low in the daily and perhaps bicycle land again. When Lambo? No, when bicycle, sir. When Marin or whatever the fuck, whatever brand you like, would be about, let's say 20 cents and make it nice and round and even. At that point, I would be looking for this one to rally somewhere into the 23 to 25 cent region in the following weeks, and then maybe you can even buy a bicycle. I don't know how much they cost anymore, but depends how many one tokens you got. Again, weekly is coming off the 55 right here. A lot more likely to bounce within this region, man. I do think that ultimately before February is over, you probably get some sort of a rally into the 24 to 26 cent region. That's the real area where you're going to find out if this one is truly bearish or not. If you start to see major rejections and weakness around that region, not good. And you're probably going to see the same thing in Bitcoin, the same thing in Ethereum. They're just going to be easier to watch. So in this case, it's like, yeah, this is bearish right here. I should call continuation. It is a continuation formation. You got hidden bearish divergence. You got volatility rising. You got 4-hour jewel showing down. I just feel like you're in for one of those quick wicks down and then close up and then probably bounce into February, something like that. That'd be my personal views. But hey, if you see a daily closure below that first wick low that you saw on 22nd of January, okay, sure, another 10% move down or whatever the fuck is gonna be, and I guess we come back to it after that. Probably gonna see Bitcoin break down as well. So as always, easiest to kind of keep eyes on Bitcoin for its structure, because the structure is a little more obvious, and then apply that to whatever altcoin that you might be looking at. I think we have Shekhar next. He says, morning, Krown. Good morning, Mr. Man. FTM 400 daily. Apologies on that one. Hello, Mr. Man. Good to see you on this nice Thursday. How are we doing? Elsa's like, she's having a laugh attack right now. She can't contain herself. She had to run to the bathroom. Make sure to spray the air freshener. 4 hour on daily, please. Hey man, I'm having a very fine start to 2022. It's actually been quite fun. Yeah, so we are getting the rejection that we spoke about yesterday on FTM. I would be looking for this one to come back down actually, and I do think that this one is heading for the ones. What is this? Like mid 160s, maybe. Jesus Christ, that seems like a big area right there. Somewhere in this blue box right here, basically. And to be fair, FTM would actually still have a good long-term setup for what it's worth, and it actually maintains that as long as you're above about 150. Okay, are you going to be able to contain yourself and be professional, or are you just going to laugh? Oh yeah, just to laugh while people are losing their life fucking savings. That's not funny. There's nothing funny about that. Here we have phantom symbol FTM versus the dollar, and we got our little short-term rally that we're looking for the past few days here. However, a rejection at the exact area that you do not want to see a rejection at, and with the rest of the market looking like it does want to kind of re-explore our current lows, I would be looking for this one to potentially come down somewhere around this blue box territory between about 165, worst case scenario, I think, on like a nasty wick, and perhaps as little as about 185 or so. But ultimately, I want to focus on the long term here, because this one is still maintaining in a nice long-term posturing. It loses that below that 160 or 155 region. Below there on a daily closure, yeah, this one starts to look pretty awful long-term. But just like a lot of the other ones that we've looked at today, I don't think that you have the momentum plays to really break down to significantly new lows. If it were to happen and you do see that confirmation of it, then I guess I'd be looking towards about 140, I suppose. I don't necessarily think that that's what's happening right here, but that would be, I suppose, validation for myself. Anyways, let's look at a monthly really quick. Yeah, not really getting too much from this. Am I getting anything from 5 days? Actually more on the bearish side. 5 day actually does suggest that we do break down to, mid, maybe low 160s, maybe 170s region. But again, that wouldn't necessarily be the same move, so perhaps not as dire right there. Anyways, I want to make sure that I'm getting the right time frames for you. Yeah, you said 4 hour and daily, so let's go back to a daily right here. Let's see, is there anything obvious? We do see a daily drive of phantom divergence right there. Whenever you see something like this, it's usually good for a short-term move, but not a major one. So I do want to be on. I do want to state that, forthright, just my own observations from that signal that I do see. And then also daily Joule has lots of downside curvature. So again, I really don't think that this one has the momentum to break down to significantly new lows, if it even break down at all. Just an exploration of the current lows, very likely a bounce after that. And then you have a very obvious way to be looking at this one from a long-term perspective, actually. And it's quite simply this: your last rejective high right here at 255, any sort of a higher time frame or even a medium-term time frame closure above there, it's all good in the hood once again. And I'll be looking for this one to continue on with the macro sort of ascending triangle that you're looking at right here, which we can throw in like this. Something like this is kind of what we'd be looking at. If you do see that over time, yeah, probably going to end up being good over a long enough time horizon. That would have an apex and force decision in May, middle of May this year. But you're probably going to make a decision on that one. It looks like around the end of Q1 in March, somewhere right around here is where you'd probably be a little more likely to confirm or deny that. Now, below your 150-ish region, 140-ish region on a daily closure, that's where this one does lose its good structure that it does have now, and probably would be looking for moves down to $1 over time. But again, I want to be very deliberately clear. I don't think that that's what's happening right here, to be honest with you. And even short-term time frames like a 4 hour, yeah, even a 4 hour closure back up about 255, and I would say this one's very likely going to make another move towards $3 and end up being pretty damn good long term. Just for right now, probably exploring the lows and scaring the shit out of everyone alongside Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as always, just easy to watch Bitcoin and Ethereum for directions if they are going to break their actual major areas or not. So as of right now, that's kind of my thoughts on this one. Hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Phantom Sir. Cool. Super Googly is next. He says, hello, sir. Can we have a look at HSI, the Hang Seng Index? Yeah. Yeah, man, it's actually really nice when you're here and asking about this one, because otherwise I don't really check it out. But yeah, this one's breaking down again as well. Another lower high and a series of lower highs. This was actually another Krown cross short red here, to be fair as well. Daily jewel showing down. Daily RSI has a head and shoulders in it. This one probably coming down to fill the gap somewhere around about 23,000 or so, whatever the hell their currency is. Weekly hidden bearish divergence as well, very likely good enough. Yeah, somewhere back down around the lows, 23,000 or so. Well, let's look at the monthly. Would I be looking for massively new lows just yet? Probably not. You are coming off the monthly 200 simple, and you know, I wouldn't call a breakdown below that region until you actually break down below that region. And monthly RSI is starting to show some signals of kind of catching itself right there as well. So I think one more, you know, retest around the lows. Probably going to see, probably going to catch itself, though. I don't think that you're going to be actually fully breaking down, you said. Or if you do, I mean, there's going to be bigger issues in life. So fair enough. Quarterly, again, you know, you're right there. I'm hesitant to call like a major breakdown just yet. I'd really wait for validation of that. So what would be a validation of a major breakdown in this case? And this would be like a macro breakdown, like a macro breakdown in this case, like a long-term, multi-year probably. And that would be, I guess, a daily closure below your March 2020 lows. It's not really helpful. That's already pretty damn far away. I'd probably use a weekly in this case. Weekly closure below about 22,500 would probably do it for me. And I guess at that point, it's free fall time, and free fall probably down to 20,000 even or so over the next like year or so. But again, I think you're more likely to retest your lows and then bounce, similar to a lot of the other things that we've looked at today, actually. Funny how all markets kind of seem to be a fractal relationship of each other. Sexy hexies are in hiding. You sleep with a mask on, Nikki. I commend you for your commitment to safety. HFIFM says Harmony 1. Actually, I'm pretty sure we just did that, right? I always get these ones mixed up. Yeah, we just did that one. Okay, so fair enough. I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm just getting a little bit later to this one. Let Elsa know if you want to look at something else, however. Anyways, Jack is next, says Matic USD. Good morning to you as well, sir. Daily and weekly. Yeah. See what this one's at here, too. Okay, Matic USD. All right. And very similar chart to the last one that we just looked at, coming off the 200 simple right here. I'd have very similar things to say as well. It's like, do you come down and retest around the lows, that, you know, 130 to 140-ish region? You know, looks a little more likely right now. Where would I call a medium-term time frame resolution to the upside with targets back up somewhere around, sorry, this area right here. Let me just zero in on it for a second. That's going to be between about 190 to 195 region. That would be with any sort of a 4-hour closure, maybe even an hourly, but a 4-hour closure above 175 in this case. Would an hourly do it? Yeah, an hourly would do it, I suppose. 175.5. And then, yeah, I'd be looking for another, I guess I'd be like, what, 10 to 15% move to the upside? Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. My apologies. Yeah, about 50% move to the upside, so not bad right there. Again, same thing as a lot of the other ones that we've seen today. This one coming off the 200 simple right here, you know, you're more likely to bounce within these regions. So weekly, do we have anything major in our way as well? Yeah, the weekly 55, again, more of a bouncy region than not, regardless of whether you're going to inevitably break down over a long enough time period. First things first, short-term timeframes, do they give one more try towards the lows? I think that's more likely right here. But I'm going to imagine that momentum oscillators are likely pretty cooked at this moment, alongside volatility also being at extremes. So that's usually the signal of the very end of a momentous move, which, yeah, you're getting that exactly right here, actually. Daily stochastic momentum turning up above 142, and HVP representing volatility very, very high right here as well. So I do think that you're going to see a corrected move up over the next few weeks here, most likely. Hopefully that was helpful. Where'd I call like a full-on breakdown, I guess, to new major lows? I guess that would be with a daily closure below 140. At that point, I mean, you might as well stop looking at this asset for a while. It's probably coming down to like 120 or so, but I don't necessarily think that's happening right now. That'd be my criteria for it, however. Also, daily jewels lost this downside curvature. So again, I'm a lot more likely to look for short-term, you know, maybe short-term moves to the downside, but ultimately, you know, bounces relatively soon. You know, most markets kind of looking that way. In fact, we should probably look at, we should, what did you say? What did you say right there? We should look at Casta. Oh, yes, I hear Casta will make you rich. And by you, I mean the people who made it. Yeah, NASDAQ's also breaking down as well. Wow, man, NASDAQ actually is relatively weak compared to Bitcoin. That's kind of insane. Jesus, man. Oh my God. That is concerning. Probably going, yeah, I'm still sticking with my 21 target here. So that's 13.3 to 13.4-ish region. So got a little bit more to go, man. And again, whenever I look at this thing, here's the real chart over the last 2 decades, or last decade. Kind of ridiculous, man. Kind of fucking ridiculous. Many drives of bearish divergence, monthly jewel turning down, volatility hit relevant extremes right there. I think that's the end for a while. There's going to be bounces, probably a big one relatively soon, but yeah, not a humongous fan of that chart, man. Not a humongous fan of that chart, to put it bluntly. Let's go to a low term time frame on Bitcoin right here. What are you doing, Bitcoin? What are you setting up to do right now? All right, let me just plop back down over here and see what other comments we have. I think it might be, no, it's Mr. Integer. I see you over there, but no message. Good morning to you regardless. Paul. Yes, I did all the yellows. Paul Garrett, he says Matic 4 on daily. Yep, we just got that one, so all good. Andrew Mo says, hey, Krown, give me rose 1 and 4 in daily. Want some roses? I hear it's 100 roses for 30 minutes. Rose, okay, let's see. Look, if you have 100 roses, you get 30 minutes of playtime. That's all. Anyways, yeah, not great on the short-term time frames, but very similar chart to a lot of the other ones. Probably coming off the lows right here. Maybe one more test down to like 28.5 cents to 29 cents region. But like a lot of the other charts, I do think that you're very, very close to some lows. Hidden bearish divergence on the last high right there. You know, where would I call a continuation, I guess, would be a 4-hour closure below 28 cents. At that point, I'd say you're very likely going to see a much further breakdown before any sort of a legitimate bounce, in which case I'd be looking somewhere around about 25 cents or so, give or take about half cent from that target. Until then, you know, I think you're probably likely to retest around that wick low, maybe even a little bit lower, but as long as we don't see any closures below there, I'm basically looking for it to confirm alongside the rest of the market a bit of a bigger bounce move, which would be had with any sort of even an hourly closure just around 37 cents. If you see something like that, I'm looking for this one to play out a nice bouncy bounce first. In this case, bounce targets would probably be somewhere between about 40 and 44 cents. More relevant for 40 cents. You do see the 200 symbol kind of come around that region as well. So fair enough. All right, cool. Let me get back on over. Go down. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Got that one. Hey, what's up, Hot Dog? Been a while, man. ANET Stonk. The Stonks. Okay. Well, I'm not familiar with this one. Arista Networks. Okay. All right. Guess it can't be that. It's actually not that bad. It's pretty damn good. All right. Apparently I've charted it before as well. I have something up here. Don't know what the hell that's about, but fair enough. Anyways, okay, so you're looking at daily and weekly, most likely to fill the gap at 102. So you're saying downside first. Yeah, I mean, most markets kind of coming down here, but is that likely to happen before a bounce is the real question. Which I don't know if I don't know if that matters to you. Do I think that things are going to eventually come down there? Yeah, I do. It's actually more like about $1.04. So it's also in line with the 200 simple right there as well. So anywhere between those two regions, kind of where I'd be looking for. I would be looking for a bounce. The question is this like a major macro high? I actually, I'll kind of say something a little bit crazy here. I actually don't think that this is, I wouldn't call this a major macro high just yet. I do think that you're going to come down somewhere around this region and very likely bounce from it. I want to see the response from that bounce first. But yeah, I do think that you are going to hit your targets probably in the next month or so of trading. The question to me though is that does this one try for a bounce first? You'll know that this one is going for a greater bounce first if you see any sort of an hourly closure above about $1.22.5. Then I'd be looking for bounce first and then come back down, maybe in like a couple months later, and bounce targets could very easily come back up towards about $1.33 or so. I also put in another one of these right here to see if that aligns. Yeah, what do you know? That'd be right within your sort of bull trappy region. So that'd be my sort of validation for a bounce first and then down. Until then, a little bit more on the weaker side in the short term, to be fair, but it is doing volume on the lows. So just like most markets right now, I'm a little bit hard pressed to call continuation first to like majorly new lows before a bouncy bounce. Anyway, Super Gulili is back. He says US oil. Oh man, I absolutely hate oil. Absolutely hate oil. I have zero interest in ever looking at this or trading this myself, but we'll look at it just for you. It is bullish here. If I can say that if there is one stonk, or it's not even a stonk, but if there's one, What the fuck, man? Oh my god, I can't believe that shit. And that this is not a bad print right here. This is real, by the way. That's just oil. That's just what fucking oil does. If you're wondering why I have strong disdain for this, to me this is a monthly breakout right here, and I would be looking for this one to work its way up to the shallow 100s. You know, a $1.05 to maybe even much as a $1.15 within the next like half year. You're on a daily and a weekly. I'm on a monthly right now, so maybe that's not too relevant for you. Weekly, also bullish, also breaking out, bullish as fuck as long as you're above about 77 bucks. Daily, same thing, trending as well. I'm looking for continuation basically from here. Corrections down to like $80 are fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm generally looking sideways and up for the next like few months, or probably next like half year or so. Very, very good right there. But again, one of the, like, if you're actually talking about real manipulation, this would be it, is oil, because you got the fucking OPEX and you got the fucking, like, all these, I know this is US oil, but all of those things like kind of coincide with each other. It's just, it's, oh man, I despise it. I absolutely despise it, but hey man, more power to you. Anyways, Danny Odisho. What's up, Odisho? Mr. Odisho. Can you check out Phantasma, symbol soul? Oh boy. I can, oh boy. Yeah, so this one hit the 1618 and then down. Yeah, similar to a lot of other things within this market. Again, you know, if it wants to play another downside move around its current wick lows at like a $1.30 or a $1.30 or a $1.40, that's completely fine. I think that most things in this market are going to kind of re-explore their lows, but just like most things in this market, I don't think it's got the momentum to break to majorly new lows. Looking at a 4 hour right here, which probably also applies to an hourly as well, just based off of what we've seen around this market. Any sort of a closure above about 212, and I would be looking for your next nice correction somewhere back around about, you know, 250 to 270-ish region. I imagine that's also going to be your 618 and 0.5. What do you fucking know? It's right there. Your 0.5 a little bit lower than that at 230. So yeah, you know, if I'm gonna do the old LARP lines right here, probably something like this, man, where it comes back down, tests around the lows, puts in a higher low, gets specifically back above here. There's your confirmation of a move somewhere into this region right here. And then the question is, do you reject and go back down below $2? Very bad. Very, very long-term bearish. If you put in a higher low somewhere above there, well, quite good. So hopefully that was helpful, man. Let me take another sip of this. Big boy George, stop shilling your fleshies. I wonder if those go into the aftermarket on eBay as well. Anyways, I think I got through all those. Okay, nice. We got Mr. Crypto Aram next. Says, mind looking into KDA, mate. Sure, mate. All right, here we go. What? Oh, time frames for my favorite shitcoin. I don't care what time frame you're looking at this thing on, man. This one has a destiny, and short term it is to the upside, long term it is to the downside. Anyways, yeah, you just deleted it. Well, whatever. I'm gonna guess it was a 4 hour in a daily. Anyways, short term, bouncy, just like most things. Oh, it's at the bottom. Okay, I see. Can you tell them a daily and a weekly and monthly? There's no monthly on something like this, man. It's been around for literally a year. Or 2 years, or actually a year and a half. Still not enough. This one is long-term, very likely coming down towards about a $1.30 to a $1.70. But short-term, are you likely to bounce around this region? Probably yes. Where's your confirmation of an extended bounce? That would be above 645 to 650, depending upon what time frame you're on. A higher term time frame, the lower you can use of those two areas. And where would I be looking for on a bounce? $9, probably quite likely. Perhaps even as much as 11.30 to 14 and a quarter. But long term, this one is heavily bearish as long as you're below basically 1480 or so, which is 618 right there. So, you know, it could be something like this where you first you come down around your lows and get above this region, and then do your rally somewhere around this region, and then turn back down. That would be obviously extremely bearish, and that's probably what's going to happen. But sorry, I can't help myself. And then long term, you know, where you're looking at probably somewhere around there to around here, which is like 140 to maybe even as less low as 220, two and a quarter or so. But short term, you know, very, very short term, very likely retest around the lows. At that point, I'm looking for a bounce into like February, maybe March. Question is, what does it do around this region? Hopium is that you pop up, you know, somewhere around here, set in a higher low like this, and then go up. That would be phenomenally bullish, obviously. It's going to require an incredibly strong broad market, but you know, good assets typically don't do shit like this, so that's rather concerning, I'd say. But short term, yeah, you know, you're coming off some major areas right here, a lot more likely to bounce here. And again, I look at the 5 day, and that's that's a problem. That's a fucking problem right there. I guess if Bitcoin breaks down, you're going to see everything come down with it, I suppose, as usual. Cool. Or maybe not cool. Uncle D says, "Hey, Krown, long time lurker here. Well, good to meet you, man. It's always cool to meet people who have been like lurking in the shadows and then finally talk." Anyways, you say, "Did you see the BS legislation being passed in the USA? It's very concerning. Please check Jerry Brito's important tweet." No, I didn't see it. I actually don't really keep up with too many things from the US because I moved away from there to not have to care about what they do. But I guess it kind of follows you wherever you go. Anyways, I'll just briefly bring it up over here. I'm curious to see what this is. Brito. Okay, I see him. All right. He's here. Okay, let's just see what you're talking about. I'm guessing it has to do with maybe the first tweet, perhaps. Okay, that sounds like an explanation. Let's see. Is there something? A ban on... okay, what the fuck is going on here? Okay, there seems... okay, maybe this is it. Including the American Competes Act, just introduced in the House, and which will very likely pass in some form, is a provision that would be disastrous, not just for cryptocurrency, but for privacy and due process generally. All right, so, well, do you mind stating exactly what it's going to be, sir? So-called special measures, provision provided by would essentially give the Treasury Secretary unchecked and unilateral power to ban exchanges and other financial institutions from engaging in cryptocurrency transactions. And they pretty much already have that, man. Yeah, the BSA, the Bank Secrecy Act. I mean, that's what fucking the FBAR and FACTA are all about. Actually, I know about that because I live overseas and I'm still an American citizen, so I have to like report all of my Finnish bank account. You know, like I live in Finland, I need a fucking bank account here, but I have to tell America that I have a bank account here, how much money's in it at all times, and they track everything. So this is actually quite normal. I don't see this as, at least if I'm understanding this properly, I think that this is this person just doesn't understand how these things work. Okay, can just be, yeah, we already, I mean, this is all par for the course with like real bank accounts. So this to me is like actually paving the way for legitimacy, if anything. It's just basically, it looks like just basically saying that it comes under that jurisdiction. Obviously, I'm not like a fucking lawyer, nor am I equipped to truly understand these things, but that would be my first take, which is probably a bad take. So you don't want my opinion on this, man. I there's no way that I actually have any better idea than you in that case, but that'd just be my own experience with like dealing with it in Finland here, being a foreigner. Anyways, a lot of the time that sort of stuff I do feel like it's a false alarm, and you have to be really careful with that, because when people sound the false alarm too many times, people stop caring. That's kind of the issue with those sorts of things. Chris Biolo says, "Krown, hope you guys had a great day." Yeah, man, I got a massage yesterday. It was good. Looking for weak assets to short, my good man. Can you check out SHIB for it in daily? Well, again, I don't know if like this is the exact area that you want to be shorting in. Depends what time frame you're on. You're on a 4-hour daily, so you seem to have not really made up your mind. You can only trade one time frame at a time, Anyways, I guess we did Coinbase for this one. Yeah, I mean, it's a piece of shit, man. It's a piece of garbage. I think best it does the upside on a corrective move is like 3,000. Is goddamn doggy down below 10 cents yet? Hold on. Motherfucker, it's not. I would look for a correction first to the upside, and that would be confirmed above about 2350. At that point, I'm probably looking somewhere between about 28 to maybe even as high as 3,000. Long term, this thing will very unlikely ever go back above 6,000, as we've been saying for a long time, and that's just been marched down ever since. Man, I'm gonna get a lot of hate from the SHIB army. Yeah, the SHIB army's coming for me. Oh man, someone called the shitcoin police. They're coming. They're on the loose again. It's more likely to bounce from here, but so that's why I wouldn't necessarily short it from where it's at right now. But if you're on a full hour, do you explore the lows first, maybe back down to like 1900 or 1800 first? Maybe yes. Where am I going to be wrong about a general bounce on the daily before lower? That would be below 1714, and then this one goes for the full retrace. Oh, little poop sandwich. Probably back down to just below 1,000. Oh God, indeed, Lex. Oh God, indeed. Yeah, the problem, well, yeah, I mean, that's basically all I have to say about that. Hopefully that was helpful, man. Let's see. Okay, scrolling through here. I think we are at Mr. Backsoff. He says, bro, can you look near? I look near. Sorry, man. Anyways, 4 hour over here. This one's still working pretty damn well, actually. Oh yeah, we looked at this one, so it's a more pertinent chart. Very similar to all the other charts that we've seen today. Probably going to come back down somewhere around the lows, whether it be $10 or 9.5. I don't have a strong idea about that. I'd be looking for a greater bounce first. On that daily in this case, with any sort of a closure above your 4 hour range highs, which is 12.50. At that point, I'm probably looking, presumably, I'm going to guess somewhere around about $15, but let me just check here. Around $13.5 to $15 on a corrective move, and then come back to it after that. Long term, not, or at least I'm going to guess not terrible. Yeah, not terrible long term. I mean, this one is generally up and to the right, but and you're more on a bouncy region. So I kind of have the same thing to say that I've said about most of the other assets that we looked at today. I just want to see that one above your medium-term time frame range highs, and then move up first, come back to it after that. Obviously, a daily closure below about 10.20 would make me bearish for massively new lows first before anything else, probably somewhere around about $9. I don't think that's what's happening. I do think that you're generally going to bounce first after maybe one more short-term move to the downside, which I'm not so confident on to begin with, to be honest with you. The more and more that I look at the short-term time frames right here, so. Hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for that one, sir. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. I want to go do it on like a very low term time frame. Do I have any setups here? No, not really. Not really. What are you laughing at over there? What's funny?
Nothing is funny.
Oh yeah, that's right. Nothing is fucking funny. We're talking about very serious shit. Very serious shit. Hey, why? When order, sir? Hold on, let me just want to make sure that my accounts are actually okay. Good. All right, thank God. There was a split second there. I was like, what the fuck is that? All right, nice. Anyways, okay. Get Elsa to give me your back first, says Miko's Adventures. That's enough internet for today. Please, Flux. No problem, man. The back hair is not included in this one. Actually, my barberess, I guess, or my hair cutter person. Hairdresser, yeah, there you go. She actually cut my back hair, so you can't really see it too much anymore. There you go. Anyways, as I wear this old rag, you're looking at a what? Oh, Elsa just got rid of it. Can never pull it back again. Oh yeah, it did just say flux. All right. Well, yeah, I don't know what time frame you're going off of. Medium-term time frame range highs. That's your 172 region right there. Above there, I do look for correction first, with targets up maybe even around like $2. Really not much of a chart here, but for the chart that you do have, it's pretty awful. What's good about being this awful is that you're already at your all-time lows, so you're likely to get a bigger pity bounce around these regions, but it's really a steaming pile of shit is what it looks like. Assuming that you do get above those range highs, probably looking somewhere around $2, a little bit above $2, maybe as much as $2.40. Any weakness around here, $2.40 or so, or below there especially, is going to lead towards long-term continuation, most likely, which in this case means more of the same. But short-term, very, very short-term, I don't know if this is relevant to you or not. I might have one more move down to like 135 first. Basically, I'm looking, I'm probably, I'm looking for a bounce out of this region before like significantly new lows, if even new lows at all. Kind of similar to Bitcoin, like short term, probably wants to pop back up here. So something like that, man. Anyways, moving on, we have Mr. Monkey Boy. Appreciate that, man. Thank you for the nice emoticon there. Some coffee indeed. Then we have Jamie Aguirre. Nice, very exotic name. Can you take a look at MTRG? Gracias, mi amor. Gracias, mi amigo, sir. Mi amigo, sir. Oh, it's a goddamn crypto. I was having high hopes it was going to be a stock in this case. Wow. Just when you thought you've seen all the shitty charts of the day, you bring up this, man. Again, very similar to the other charts we've seen, in the sense that, you might have one more move down around your current lows, whether that be $2.90 or $3. I'm generally looking for a bounce first before any significantly new lows are had. That would be that'd be confirmed with a 4 hour closure above 420, great number. And then maybe targets back up towards like 540 to 550 or so. But this thing's never known what a daily uptrend is, nor even a 12 hour, nor even a 4 hour. So I'm going to be very skeptical of calling any long-term reversal based off that, but I do think that you could have a nice rally here, to be fair, alongside Bitcoin. So fair enough. You all right? Oh, Jesus Christ, man. How the fuck do you even get a name like that on YouTube, man? Seek help. Seek help immediately. What the hell, dude? Anyways, Neostrutton says, can we check Adam Bruh 4 hour and daily? No problem, man. This Cosmos. I can do that. It's probably gonna be the same shit. All right, do we have the same shitcoin chart? It's the same shitcoin chart. Wow. Actually, no, it's not as bad. I apologize. Okay, I do take that back. Yeah, more likely to bounce here, man. Just want to see it above your range highs and then probably back up somewhere around $2 or so. Yeah, I'm actually very, very glad that you brought this up, and I apologize about that. Yeah, this one's in a more bouncy region. What about the 5-day? That looks concerning. If it does dump off below its current lows at about $1.25 on a daily closure, I'd be looking for humongous moves down, like 99 cents to $1 region. But again, easy to watch Bitcoin here, man. They all pretty much look like Bitcoin in the short-term time frames. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I do stand corrected right there. Adam, 4 on daily. Yes, let's get back onto this one. This one again was amongst some of the more strong ones. Yeah, so this one already came back down to around our downside target. I'm gonna guess. Oh, I didn't even have it in there, but basically be like right around here. You know, does it put in one more wick between this region, between about, what is it, 28 to 29 and a quarter or so, maybe? But ultimately, I'm probably looking for a bounce here, you know, outside of this range first. Where's your confirmation of, you know, of a bit of a short-term reversal? Actually, is or I wouldn't say short-term, a daily reversal would be back to about 37 and a quarter. That last spike high that you see right there. At that point, I'd be looking for another retest for your all-time highs and very likely new all-time highs over a long enough time period. Weekly, a little bit more concerning, does show we could very easily have some nasty downside. I would say that the downside first is confirmed with any sort of a 4-hour closure below that wick low that you see right here, 27 and a half. And that would imply targets at minimum towards about probably like 25 to probably somewhere around $25. Let's see what the weekly looks like again. Yeah, somewhere around the weekly 55. So somewhere around there, if that does happen. You know, when I look at the weeklies on a lot of these things, they do look like they want to trade lower. When I look at the higher term time frames, like the 5-day does look like it wants to trade lower. Again, very interesting. If you're looking at a 4-hour, as I just saw Eli Karchov ask for, again, short-term time frames, I mean, you know, I don't think they have too much lower to go here. Maybe another move down somewhere around about 28 to 27 or so. Then tries for a bounce right there. I would call correction over with a move back above $37 in this case. Until then, this one actually looks weaker on the higher term time frames, to be fair. What does a monthly look like here? Not getting much from this. Yeah, I think I'd just leave it right there, actually. The daily errors are the most obvious. Above 37, good. You know, you can start to talk about, what is this, like $45, $50 highs and very likely long-term continuation. Until then, this one actually not too great on the higher term time frames, to be fair. This is another lower high. This is a bit of a throwback right here too. So if you do start to close below that 22nd of January wick low, I'm looking much lower first, $25 or so, give or take. Elliot Diggs, what's up, man? Good morning to you as well. What to do with leveraged winnings in the USA? Oh, sorry, did someone else jump in? Yeah, I was just doing that one, actually. So all good. Okay, so what to do with leveraged winnings in USA? So meaning like you traded well with leverage and you have money. You made money? What? This is crazy. Well, first you pay your taxes and then you do whatever you want with it, man. I mean, I can't tell you how to spend your money. What the fuck? I don't know what you should do with your money, man. I don't know. Maybe reward yourself with it a little bit. Yeah. Man, you need to seek help immediately, Trey. That is concerning. That is like absolutely concerning. Fuckro says, hey man, glad to hear you. Hey, glad to see you, brother. If Bitcoin goes below 28,000 or more, alts like Luna, FTM can survive, or we will see Thanos snap. So a theoretical question, I'd say that you're going to see, you know, similar moves on those altcoins. They're probably going to play in a higher beta fashion, meaning that if Bitcoin essentially breaks long-term structure, which I actually don't look at as 28, it's like 29 and I think 500 or so on a daily closure. So I'd have to like double check on this one, but I'd be looking for them to completely shut the bed as well. Yeah, if that's basically the question. Hey, Yatin, no, she hasn't missed it. You're just like very far behind because we do this in terms of value. It seems to be the most fair way to do it, with some people super chatting more versus some people super chatting less. So what we do it is we do it in terms of value first. So no, she has actually not missed you. I can see your chat there, but it's literally like one of the last ones right now. Anyways, Uncle D says, it empowers the secretary to prohibit any cryptocurrency transaction without any process or rulemaking, could force any exchange to stop trading of all cryptos with no reason or appeal. Yeah, again, I mean, like, do you, they already have that power. I don't know if you know this, or if you've heard of One Broker, for example. Yeah, look into them, man. They can stop whatever they want, man. Oh, Mike's saying because crypto leverage trading in the U.S. is illegal. Well, it is legal if you fulfill certain criteria. So I'm guessing in your case, if it is illegal, well, I don't know. I don't know, man. Contact a lawyer. Contact a lawyer would be wise. But yeah, Uncle D. Again, I'm not equipped to comment on like legal matters like that. I'm not an authority on the topic, nor do I have a good idea on it. So I can just give my take on it, which is probably a bad take. I would say, well, it's they can already do that. Like, what's the surprise? What's the surprise here? Just look at One Broker, man. They shut that one down. Basically any exchange that deals in US dollars, they can shut down. Anyways, Thomas Fan says NVDA 4-hour and weekly. Someone has way too much time on their hands, man. I really hope better for you, man. Really hope better for you. Anyways, ARM, okay. So when you're going to pull up something like this, it's not too obvious, which ticker you're talking about. I'm going to guess it's this, but I don't know. Oh, sorry. Okay, you're talking about NVIDIA. Okay, that's a lot more obvious. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, 4-hour and weekly. So the acquisition deal is off. Oh, that's crazy. It's almost like they use that to manipulate. Again, more in a bouncy area right here, but they're not strong moves. These are not strong moves. It's like most markets we've seen today. I do think you're setting up for a bounce off this region sooner rather than later. You might have one more test of the lows, whether that be like 214 to 216 or 218 region. That's fine. I would not call a continuation to significantly new lows, in this case free fall targets, until you close below the daily low right there. And at that point, I'd be looking for a move towards about 180 to 185. And this one does look long-term macro toppy. I don't think that this one's very likely to move for the downside over a long enough time frame. I'm curious. Yeah, so you're mostly focused on high. Okay, you asked for a 4-hour and a weekly, man. These have no relationship to each other. 4 hours still ugly and bearish. I'd call a bounce first before long-term continuation. With any sort of a 4-hour closure above 241.32, with targets up to about 270-ish region, and then still long-term continuation, very likely to the downside. I don't think that you're out of the woods yet, to use that terrible term, till you're back, somewhere back down around about 180 to 185 region. How bearish are you for stonks in general? Well, I mean, again, I can just give you this chart right here, man. Like, I think this chart says everything. And this is linear. This is the real chart. This is linear scale. Don't think it's done, man. Don't think it's done. Yeah, the crazy thing is that he has multiple accounts, and I literally have on the stream here, there is criteria in order to be able to comment to begin with. So you have to, one, be a subscriber for like 10 minutes or so, and then you have to also wait like 5 seconds between your comments as well. So man, this person is like very determined. Man, you realize you could do anything at a professional level with that sort of determination, but you choose to be a YouTube troll, which is amazing, man. Amazing, just fucking incredible. Anyways, let's see. Okay, we got that one. M. Chase says, aloha, my island brother. What's up, island boy? FNF, I'm guessing this is a stock. Not familiar with this one. I'm guessing it's this. Okay, and are we looking at a 6-hour daily and weekly gang? I'm looking at a monthly. This looks like a top gang with bearish divergence gang, and weekly looks wrecked gang. Daily also rather ugly gang. Does it give one more try towards $48 and then initiate a bounce with targets up towards like 52 to 54? Probably yes. I don't think that you're seeing this one continue exactly from here to the downside. But ultimately, I do think that this one is probably going to play down over the next few months here, to be honest with you. Maybe down to like 44, if in like worst case scenario, maybe like $40 even or so, if you're on very short-term time frames, which I don't understand, like, no offense, but not that there's offense even included in this, but I just don't understand why someone would ask for like a 4-hour and a weekly. It's like, they're so different, man. They're so different. But anyways, I would call bounce first with a 4-hour or even an hourly closure above $51. And again, bounce targets into like the mid 50s essentially. Yeah, it's $51 basically. And then I'm looking for like 53-ish, ish, 53-ish region essentially, and then probably continuation more long term is generally what I think on marks right now. Anyways, okay, now Mr. Oh, actually no, I skipped a few people over here. I skipped Mr. Daniel and then Mr. Yachten. You've been oh so patient, man. Hey Krown, loving the Neophyte program. Awesome, man. Glad to hear that. Can you please check out XJO on? Hey, thank you for including the exchange. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Please don't hold back. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's brace for. Oh my God. Oh no! My XJO tokens are going to the floor. Wow. Wow. Wrecked. 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 I think it's wrecked. I can tell you where I'd be looking for a big bounce on the weekly. I don't know how long it takes to get down here, but somewhere around the 200 simple at about 65 to 600. Also your last structure coming in from December 2020. Monthly, you know, do you bounce in the short term? Maybe yes. Again, no strong opinions on this. If you're looking on this one specifically for the long term, I'm looking somewhere down around here actually. It may be even low over time. I mean, in a devastating March 2020 situation, I guess somewhere down around 5,600. Who knows how the hell long that takes? I see. Do we expect an alt season after Bitcoin's relief rally to 44 to 48? No, I don't think so. I really dislike bringing up the altcoin, the Bitcoin dominance chart here. But if you are treating this chart as still relevant, which, I mean, it is. Look, this is a major low. You're testing your multi-year lows right here, very likely to bounce up. I think that this one's going to be trading into the 50% region. It's probably not going to work exactly like that because it's very difficult to measure dominance in this market any longer, just because there's too many shitcoins, man, and it's too easy to create a shitcoin. But if I'm just going off this chart right here, you got a bullish engulfing on the monthly. Might I add, you got monthly, macro, multi-year support. Most alts look terrible versus their Bitcoin pairing. Some are okay, and some will survive, some will be great, but most will be okay versus the US dollar when Bitcoin rallies. So when Bitcoin rallies, altcoins will very likely rally with it, probably not as much. They'll probably get soaked up by Bitcoin as people get out of their shitcoins and it back into Bitcoin. And then assuming that Bitcoin does fail from there, if it does at all, so we're making an assumption here, which may or may not be true. But if the criteria for that gets validated, then yeah, I'd expect everything to fall down with it, and altcoins very likely more. Yeah. Okay. You closed the chats, did you? Where is your message? There we go. I see it. All right. GG just dropped in as well. He says, can you check out Tesla daily, weekly, monthly? Sure. I'm going to guess it's probably very similar to most of the other charts we've seen today. I'm going to guess, man. I'm going to guess. Monthly. Okay, so we did hit our 930 target because we're already there. So that's, holy shit, man. This one got a wick down all the way to 855. Holy moly. Daily, weekly, monthly. Let's go to a monthly. Yeah, long term, this is very, very likely a macro top. 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence come off the highs. I do not think that this is the extent of the correction long term. Over the next half year to a year, probably working its way down to 700 or below 700. Daily, do we bounce first, or does Tesla bounce first? Probably yes. We already kind of hit our target right there. In fact, overshot it by a good margin, not on a daily closing basis. But does it follow the LARP lines of Hopium? I mean, it still kind of has that in there, yes. And I do think that next move probably does try to the upside, maybe back above $1,000 again. But long term, I do have to be bearish on this one. I'm actually curious to see what a quarterly looks like. Wow, that is a hell of a chart. You do have quarterly bearish divergence for me right there, for what it's worth. I don't know how much I trust that, though. I'm generally looking maybe for like another short-term bounce, but long-term, very likely down. Very, very likely down. Paisa999 says, thoughts on Cardano long? Ugh. 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 Cardano long? Sure, you just picked out like one of the biggest losing altcoins. Thoughts on Cardano long? I don't know. I don't know, man. Well, let's find it out over here. Is it more likely to bounce first or not? I mean, shit, man. What's even a bounce for Cardano at this point? I think best it does to the upside is 134 to 136 region. Long term, what do I think about Cardano long? I think it comes down towards like $0.50, man. I think it comes down towards $0.50 or so. Let's see. All right. new to your channel, so don't know how it works or how to ask on your opinion on coins. Well, this is one of the weakest ones in my opinion. Hasn't even had a legitimate rally on any higher term time frame for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 working on months now. I don't know the problem when you ask a question like that, Mr. Paisa, and I understand that you're new here, is that when you say like a long, first, I don't know your trading strategy, so I don't know if you're long term, short term, what time frames you're talking about because you didn't include them. I don't know what your like preferences are. Are you a swing trader? Are you a short term scalper? Or, you know, again, what do those things even mean to you? It's very difficult for me to have any legitimized opinion on that. What I can say is that I don't think that there's any sense in playing any longs here, even on a short-term time from like a 4 hour, as long as you're below about 116 or 117. Above 117 on a 4 hour closure, yeah, I do think that you have a nice rally here, somewhere around the mid to low 130s first before anything else. Long term, I think this one's going into the shitcoin drawer, but short term, you know, probably does rally first before any sort of potential dooms drop. I'd say that this one is corrective at best for the long term, as long as you're below about 165. So again, if that's relevant for you long term, maybe, I don't know. Personally speaking, I do think over a long enough time horizon, you're going to see this thing well below $1, probably somewhere down around about 80 cents to 50 cents or so. But do you try rally there first? Is that relevant for you? Is that tradable? Yeah, I think it'd be tradable, but understand the validation for that criteria to begin with, because it's still a little bit further away. Anyways, sweet. Okay, let me see. Okay, now it's Mr. Yadin. He says 4th USD. Man, you impatience to ask about this pile of garb. Wow. Just when you think you've seen the shittiest charts of the day, Yadin comes in and drops 4th on my fucking face. This thing is... Man, Yadin, come on, brother. Look, when everything was rallying to new all-time highs, even the shittiest of shit in November, this thing didn't even get a daily uptrend. It's pathetic, man. It's absolutely pathetic. Is it going to try for a rally from here? Maybe, yeah. Again, I think most of this market has a little bit of a chance. Where would I call that validated for a short-term move, I guess? Well, on a 4 hour closure above 632, sure, yeah, I'd be looking for another move up. I think at best 870 to 880 region, or maybe $9, but look, there's zero reason to be making excuses for an absolute dog shit piece of chart like this when most of the market is in the fucking dumpster right now. This chart is an absolute dumpster fire. I think best it does the upside on like a Hail Mary, just best case scenario. Like everything in the stars align is maybe like $9 to $10, and even then that would be like that'd be asking for too much hopium, man. So what's more likely here? Maybe another short-term move up, maybe even hits $9 or so in the next month or so. But ultimately, this one, there's zero reason to believe that it's going to do anything different than what it's ever done, which is just, you know, the go down, actually. Pretty bad, man. So again, hopefully you're not taking this personally. I'm not talking shit about you as a person, but as a chart, this is easily the worst chart that we've seen today, and I have zero reason at all whatsoever to be looking for a reversal on the shittiest chart in a market that's already kind of under pressure. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful though. Cool. All right. All right, Chris DC, last one, man. Last one. Pretty new around here and enjoying the content. Thanks, man. I'm glad to hear that. I would love for you to check out the Luna chart. Yeah, the Luna chart is right here, brother. No time frames given, so I'm just going to do a general overview on this one. I mean, we got time. It's like 1:40, so, or 1 hour and 40 minutes into this one. All right, so we already played out. Oh no, we have not played out our downside move, but that's also not the full move there. Anyways, how to be bearish on a chart that looks like this as long as you're below this area now, which is your breakdown point. So that last spike high right here is about $70. As long as you're below there, I'm looking for this one, you know, at best have maybe some short-term corrective moves up to 60, 62, 63. That's fine. Generally though, I'm looking for Well, I go to a daily right here, and it's like it's more likely to bounce off this region. To be fair, what about a weekly? This is also the problem when like I don't know what time frame you're looking at. Okay, so here's what I'd say. If you're on a 4 hour, there is a very obvious continuation point, and that would be with a 4 hour closure basically below about $55. If you start to close a 4 hour dildo below $55, I'd be looking for a significant continuation first to new lows. In this case, that'd be 47-ish target, 47 to 48-ish target, before the next potential major low gets put in. The weekly looks bad. 5-day looks bad. Monthly looks not great, any longer at least. I would say that the Doomium, or well, first off, understand that that's not validated until that happens, until that criteria is met. On the other side, would I validate a short-term correction to the upside with targets up maybe even to like $80 to $85? Yes. However, the criteria for that would be a 4 hour closure above $70 and a half dollars, or even an hourly probably does it well. Maybe make that like 71, and then yeah, I'd be looking for 80 to maybe even as much as 85. But again, this is kind of a ridiculous chart right here, isn't it? Right? It went to the moon. I think it's coming back down longer term. So the question is, do we get a bounce first? I think there's definitely potential for that on Bitcoin. If you see it on Bitcoin, you're very likely going to see it across all things within this market. And for Bitcoin, it's a lot more of an easy area. It would be an hourly closure above 38,500 or a 4 hour closure above basically 38,000 or 38,100 or so. If you see those criteria met, you're probably gonna see all this market bounce. Until then, I think most things are kind of ranging on their lows, and I still hesitate to really call any major continuations from where we're at right now. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but have those criteria set out in front of you. All right, cool. Elliot Diggs has been clean from dope for 3 years today. What is dope? Is dope like weed? What's wrong with weed, man? Thought Krown would be stoked. I don't know what dope means, because like for some people it means like cocaine, which is probably like a big deal. But fair enough, man. Hey, congratulations to you. You set your mind to choose something and you did it, and that's awesome, man. That's really, really awesome. Let's see. I got super burnt out on Cardano before. Definitely more cautious now. Yeah. Oh, it's heroin. Okay, man, it means like everything. Holy shit. Well, in that case, man, massive congratulations. That's amazing. I've never done heroin myself, but it sounds like, or from what I hear, it sounds like quite difficult to quit. So, hey, man, that's amazing. That's amazing, man. Really happy for you. Dope is McDonald's. Dope is McDonald's. That's right. I understand that people, there's a lot of people in the chats who seem to like really love Cardano. Look, understand, I'm just talking about charts here, man. The chart is awful. The chart is long-term awful. That doesn't mean that it's a bad project, although it probably means that it's a bad project. But, the problem with that is that I've just heard the same shit in general for the past 4 years in this space especially, and it seems to be that people like to make excuses for their favorite coin, which fair enough, we all get attached to things, obviously it's human nature, but but understand that fundamentals are actually quite divorced from price action, just generally speaking. I mean, honestly, what matters most is just a simple market cycle. When most things are bullish, Cardano is going to be bullish, but I highly doubt that Cardano is going to be doing anything, sustained to the upside if the market does, basically Bitcoin and the rest of the market does not. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're marked off your chart. You're not marked off of your understanding of the fundamentals. The fundamentals, like, honestly, the fundamentals really don't matter that much when it comes to trading. If you're long-term investing, maybe they matter a little bit, or they probably do matter, but that's not the same game. That's not the same game, and that's not going to really help in the shorter term. Carrie B says Cardano is all hype. Other level ones that are at the stage Cardano is at are not in the top 10. Again, I'm not even equipped to talk about that because I don't really follow the fundamentals, but I can just tell you by looking at the chart, something disastrous has happened, and it seems to me that Cardano, just from an outsider looking in, it has the same sort of issues that I see with a lot of communities, in the sense that you have a kind of a charismatic leader, I guess, who people get attached to. They hang on his every word. They fall into the deep drawer of hopium, maybe for some good reason as well. Maybe they truly believe in it long term, and fair enough, it can work out. It can work out perhaps, but a lot of the time that might be a bit of a smoke and mirrors between what's actually like going on in the background, which, well, it's not great. Yeah, we looked at Atom a few times actually. Some people say that the fundamentals suck. Again, I'm not even, I'm not equipped to comment on that at all. You know, I don't know anything about its fundamentals, nor would I be like qualified to comment on it. I figure that if you're going to be qualified to comment on the fundamentals, you probably need to understand programming. So that's also the thing, is like the people who do talk about the fundamentals of something like that, I'm going to guess, because very few people actually know how to do this, but they'd have to like be able to read the code and all of that stuff, because there's no like earnings report. There's no objective way to measure these things. They don't, from what I understand, it probably doesn't have a working product, or maybe it does. If it does, then it ain't working too well based off the chart. You only hear the word fundamentals in the crypto space. That's kind of true, kind of not true. No, you see the same shit in traditional markets, man. It's people. It's just, this is human nature, right? People will make up any excuse for their favorite thing that they truly believe in, or they might truly believe in. You know, it just is what it is, man. Clipper70 has a good question. Does Krown have a hunch if the market will recover to new all-time highs here versus being in a bear market for the last several months? Well, it depends how you define a bear market. I define a bear market as a weekly downturn, which we actually don't even have just yet, to be fair, to give you an idea of how bad it can get. But I think your real question is, does Krown have I mean, look, man, I don't have, there's no way for me to know these things. What I can tell you, though, is that, or what I do feel very strongly about, it seems with your question, you're like very concerned about Bitcoin making new all-time highs from here. Let's say I can give you the biggest shot of hoping right now that Bitcoin is going to put in a bottom right here. Let's say the best case scenario that Bitcoin puts in a bottom right here. I still think it would be at minimum 4 to 6 months before you even see another move back around 60,000 to new all-time highs or so. That'd be like best case scenario. I don't even think that would happen. I'd say like what's more likely in the best case scenario, that this is low, which it probably not, might be, probably not. You're probably looking maybe around like end of Q3, beginning of Q4, I'd say. You want to look at Aussie dollar? All right, we can just quickly do that. And then I'll probably shut this one off very soon after that. Just doing a little bit of fun talking here. Pretty bad, man. You got another lower high, you got another rejection, very likely coming down. The long-term macro downtrend remains. The quarterly has another drive of hidden bearish divergence. I'm looking for this one to come down over the next half year to a year to 66 cents or so, and then maybe more over time. Pretty awful, man. First they lock you up on that damn island, and then they make your shitcoin of a currency go down as well. I don't know, man. It sounds like a bad deal to me. Jesus Christ. Who invested in Robinhood? Y'all got wrecked. I mean, sounds like a nice positive message, sir. Who invested in this piece of shit? By the way, you got wrecked. It's like, all right. Oh, your name is also Let's Go, Brandon. So you seem like a very reasonable person. I'm not even a fan of Biden, but man, you make me want to like Biden. Like names like that. It's just silly. It's just silly, man. Let's see. I'm trying to pick out some good comments here. Okay, people have really strong opinions on Cardano. People either love it or hate it, man. I don't love it nor hate it. Just not in love with the chart, I'll tell you that. Cadena is better than Solana. Wow, I haven't heard that one before. Can you show Bitcoin last time how it will go 20,000? I heard it's certain too before going all top. What the fuck? There's no certainties in trading nor technical analysis. There's only probabilities and statistics. And whoever is trying to sell you uncertainties has not gone through that. Hex. Oh, fucking dear God, Hex. Hey, when Pulse, man? I thought Pulse was supposed to come out like 6 months ago. Honestly, a Hex probably bounces here. Yeah, it probably bounces here, but then you look at the monthly. That's a problem. That's a long-term problem, as is the bi-weekly. Long-term, I think it's going where the rest of this market's going. But the real question is when Pulse, man. I was told that was going to come out in like September or October. We're in like another year now. I don't know. I guess there's nothing that you can tell the fucking Hex crew that's like, that seems, I don't know. To me, that's, I even sacrificed to or Pulse or whatever the hell. Like, I'm not even that mad about it. It's kind of like expected, but whatever. You are invested in Pulse. Don't laugh. I can laugh at my own stupidity, man. I invested in it just so that the Hex people can't come at me like with the fucking pitchforks and shit. No, I can laugh at that because it was a ridiculous thing to do. You know, I invested in it, and yeah, I can't be mad at myself. So if I can't be mad at myself for something that should have come true, like I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, don't you think the only thing that I can do now is just laugh? You can't take that away from me, Mr. Sandman. Look, it's a little bit strange, you know, when you have like, look, if you go and order something and they say, hey man, it's coming in an hour, and then it doesn't come for like another few months, you'd probably be like, sounds weird, right? It seems a little bit weird to me. I don't really keep up with it because, you know, I'm not relying on it, but yeah, man, I'm going to laugh at dumb shit that I do, man. You're allowed to laugh at shit that you want to do. You're allowed to laugh at dumb shit. You're allowed to laugh at anything. Hex taking notes from Ethereum 2.0. Yeah, man, they all take for fucking forever. Like I also have Ethereum. I mean, like they haven't accomplished their goals like at all. I laugh at that too, man. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, it might make you money, but here's the thing, man. So Pulse, I believe, came out with like a website or something. Let me see if this is it. Pulse.com or probably something like this. No, PLS Pulse chain. Basically, they came up with a website, and all that you do there is you type in how much you sacrifice, and then it tells you how much money you will theoretically make if Pulse goes to X amount of price. Like that's oh my god, like one of the good things that my father taught me when I was younger is that if it sounds too good to be true, or if you're being sold on something like that, it's probably got something else going on right there, man. Again, man, like, look, don't you think that's a little bit strange? Or, I mean, if that's not a little bit strange, I guess there's nothing that's really going to like turn you off about it. So it seems like maybe not the most, well, unbiased. PulseX. Yeah, and then he makes another fucking project. So I don't know, complete the first one. For like, how would you feel if you okay, so for myself, I just threw some into it. It's not like a big deal, but for someone who, you know, really believed in it, think about their perspective. They're like, oh shit, you know, I just invested in this and now he's already making another one, but this one ain't done. And like, what the fuck? I don't know. It would seem a little bit strange to me, man. I would be like, you know, if it was a bigger deal, I'd be like quite up in arms about it. But then again, I mean, you know, this is the games that you play in this world, right? Just looking. Sean Womble, I think you have a great idea. Richard Hart and Charles Hoskinson should combine Hexardanio. Yeah, there you go. Just put them all into the same box there. Pulse will be out in a month or so. I've been hearing that since September, man. I don't know if it'll do anything good or not, but am I allowed to laugh at it, Sandman? Do I have your acceptance to laugh?
No.
I'm holding my laugh. I can't hold it, man. This laugh is coming out. This laugh is coming out.
Oh, God!
And laughter validation. Hexdanio. Doesn't Richard live in Finland also? I think that he doesn't talk about his location. I guess I can understand that. You don't want to dox yourself, but I don't know. I figure also people are going to find out if they want to find out anyway. So how about Sunday Swap? I don't have any opinion on it. Censor the laughing. It's like it just gets beeped out. There'll be no laughing.
Someone says Richard is proud of his shoes, but like
Richard is proud of his shoes. I mean,
everyone.
he should be proud of his shoes. He's got a great style. He's got a great style. I actually like listening to Richard Hart, to be honest with you. You're the one that put your money in. Hope it wasn't too much. Look, man, I'm not like, I did it with the expectation that money's gone for forever, to be honest with you. I think that's how you have to look at most things in this market. Look, man, it would be very, I think I'll just leave it right there, man. I don't think that this is a reasonable conversation, to be honest with you. Please do PGX, please, like the stock. Actually, I'm curious to no, this is oh no, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Pretty bad already. Very fucking bad. This one's macro breakdown. This one's gonna work its way down to like probably $14 even over the next half year or so. Yeah, terrible on the monthly. This one's just awful. Maybe even lower than that over the next like year or two. Maybe even down to like 13 and a half. It's another month or so away. I've only heard that for the last 5 months, Nimbo. Nimbo's the goddamn hex shill here too, man. He sold me on it. He's fucking sold me on it. That's how easily manipulated I am. I'm so easily manipulated. CRO, please. We can do that really quickly. I think it's time to shut it off though, man. I'm saying a lot of dumb shit now, so probably a good indication that I should shut it off. Crypto.com, you know, I think that you're basically doing something like this, right? Oh, Jesus Christ, I already have it in here. Let's just do it really quickly. 42.5 cents to the upside, base here at about 32.5 cents to the downside. You know, I have a very similar thing to say about this one. It's like, look, do I think there can be another move down to the base? Yeah, absolutely, 32.5 cents. I don't think that this one's probably going to break towards massively new lows, you know, even if it retests down around there. So it's just, this one's already been beat up quite a fair bit to the downside. It's probably in for a much more prolonged sideways range. Now, I'd get a lot more excited about it with probably like a 12-hour closure above 42.5 cents. At that point, probably looking for corrections back up towards half a buck. Yeah, I hear you on that, Nikki Page. I'm very highly suggestible, so like I'm basically, ever since like some early mishaps, you know, with being a little bit too trustworthy, I basically just say no to everything now, because I know it always sounds good to me. I'm always like, wow, that sounds amazing. This sounds like the next big thing. I need to get into this right now. So I just say blindly no to everything, which probably, obviously, there are going to be some good things, some legitimate things. All right, cool, guys. I think it's time to shut off this stream. I think we're talking a bit more in circles right here. You know, Bitcoin, I think we kind of got that one nice and early here. Above, what is this, 38,100, or, you know, on a 4-hour closure, I do look for a correction, you know, bounce continuation basically into like the shallow 40,000s. Until then, you know, hanging around the lows completely fine, or not completely fine, but, you know, probably a little more expected. Wouldn't necessarily be looking for massively new lows until Bitcoin closed the daily below about 34. Below 34, I do look for the measured move off of the, I'm guessing the head and shoulders over here. Where is it? Hey, it's escaped me again. There it is. Yes, somewhere down around about 29 to 30,000. Anyways, if that were to happen, until then, I think it's probably going to maybe retest the lows once again. And then if you do see that next validation for the short-term range highs on the 4-hour, I'll be looking for rally to bring you up somewhere around about 40 to 44 over the next month or so. And then we come back to it after that. Anyways, it's been an absolute pleasure to stream with you on this nice Thursday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. The sun is rising finally now. It's just about 10 a.m. So I am going to go eat, go to the gym, and have a bit of a nice day. I want to wish you a nice day as well. Thank you to our moderator crew for keeping everyone safe and soft, especially on a day like today, which is weird. Which we had a little bit of weird chats going on right there. JT wants to let everyone know that you done goofed, you all go into jail. Okay, well, I think we'll end on that one. Thank you for your very highly esteemed comment, sir. I will reflect on that and then kill myself later. With that said, take care. Wishing everyone the best of the best, and we'll see you hopefully very soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it,